Risk management is defined as controlling financial and personal injury loss from sudden, unforeseen, unusual accidents, and intentional torts. In other words, it is the process where risks are identified, evaluated, and prioritized in order to minimize, monitor, and control the impacts of the risk. If a risk management plan is created and followed effectively, then risks can be minimized and potential liabilities will decrease significantly. During my time at Penn State's IM building, I have noticed the lack of orientation and enforcement of the rules at the bouldering wall. Bouldering as a sport does have inherent risks associated with it, but there are measures that the IM building staff need to take in order to make the experience as safe as possible for members. For instance, among climbers, there is an unspoken code that the climber already on the wall has the right of way, and that the person on the ground must wait for the climber to finish the route or get off the wall in order to start. However, if someone is new to climbing, he or she probably will not know about this rule unless they are told about it by an experienced climber. This unawareness could cause injury if they were to start climbing directly under another climber already on the wall, and if that climber were to fall on top of them. This would be public liability caused by negligence, which is the accidental injury of a participant, which could result in the IM building being held accountable for the injury. Another example of this lack of orientation is the incorrect method of falling when climbing. When bouldering, there is a proper way to fall so that the climber has the least possible chance of injury. They must fall and try and land on their feet, and then roll onto their back in order to disperse the shock and impact. Again, a new climber may not know this correct way to fall and could seriously injure themselves if they were to land wrong. I had previously believed that the IM building required an orientation in order to boulder, but when I asked the front desk about this, they said that a member only needs to sign a waiver. This directly contradicts the climbing wall staff and the sign they have posted near the bouldering wall, which, if I might add, is tucked away in a corner and is in such a small print that no one bothers to read it. I didn't even know the sign was there until I started looking for it while filming for this project. On this poster are the guidelines and rules for both the IM building and the bouldering wall, but with such small print and rules that aren't enforced, the IM building staff could very well be liable in the event of an injury. If I were the manager of the IM building and this risk was brought to my attention, I would first identify the risk by asking members participating at the climbing wall whether or not they have completed an orientation in the past. I would also attempt to approach newer climbers, which can often be identified by the rental shoes they wear, and ask them to tell me any rules that they know for the wall. I would carry out this second step, risk evaluation, by evaluating the frequency and severity of the bouldering-related injuries. The lack of orientation to new climbers occurs often enough that many do not know the rules of the wall, which could result in falls and injuries as severe as fracturing or breaking bones. This evaluation would lead me to step 3, risk treatment. As the manager of the IM building, I would use a retention strategy. Since waivers are already in place, I would make sure that my staff are giving every new climber an orientation on the rules of bouldering and directions on how to fall. As of right now, the orientations are inconsistent and do not occur for every new climber. In order to lower the risk of injury, I would put a great amount of stress on my employees to follow good management practices and require them to administer an orientation every time and have them put in the system when someone completes it, so as to have a record of who has climbed before and knows the rules. In order to implement the plan, I would make sure to discuss it at every staff meeting, for both general IM building staff and the climbing wall staff. Successful communication will be key to the successful implementation of the plan, and feedback from the employees will allow for the plan to be modified and adjusted as needed in order to ensure a safer environment for all climbers. Bouldering itself has various risks associated with it, but they can be easily minimized if all climbers are aware of the rules and regulations of the wall and know how to properly fall. By utilizing my risk management plan, I believe that the bouldering wall can be a safer space for all who wish to climb it.